Hey everyone, it is Brian Cass here on another WebFire webinar here. Sean will not be with us this time, I don't think, because he's actually currently on vacation in Europe. So it'll just be myself, Brian Cass here, as well as we have a helper on, Sharon, as well. So while I'm basically talking, if there's any questions in the chat or anything like that, she'll be sure to basically answer you as best as she can, and we'll have some time towards the end for a Q&A as well, so if there's any extra questions left or anything like that, you can always feel free to ask then, and I'll do my best to basically answer you live. And as always, if there's ever a question that we don't get to, we try to get to all the questions, but in case we accidentally miss one, or if there's just not enough time or anything like that, or if you have a question that basically pops up later, no worries, just feel free to write support@webfire.com. Now, on this call right here, this is a pretty interesting one. We've done one or two like this before with some essentially other ideas and stuff. People seem to really like it. But on this call, we'll basically talk about 5 more ways to make money with WebFire. So people seem to really like that topic. Now, we have a couple calls kind of like this, including one of the Jumpstart trainings we have. Basically talk about 5 more generic ways of making money off of it. This is a little bit different than that, and this will basically dive into specific examples. So pretty cool stuff right there, and hopefully you get some ideas of kind of services or stuff that you can do using WebFire to basically make some money off it, or start a little business off on the side, as well as what you can do to help yourself at the same time. So pretty good stuff, and without further ado, I'll get the show on the road. So once again, my name is Brian Kaz, and this will be on 5 more easy ways to make money with WebFire. So just as a quick summary for WebFires, for the webinars and the trainings, be on the lookout for future trainings. You want to make sure to sign up in the members area, and also look on the Facebook group page as well, because we'll make an announcement there. But if you register for the webinars in the members area, it will give you a notice every time you do a future one. So you'll never be left out or anything like that. Now, if you haven't signed up for our free Facebook group yet, make sure you do so right now. You can go to getwebfire.com/FB group. That will forward to the WebFire Facebook group on Facebook side. And if you haven't applied yet, just click essentially join, and Sharon will probably approve you within a minute or two if you do so right to now. And you want to do that because towards the end of this call, you'll have a chance to win some money. So make sure to join that right now. And of course, you can also ask questions and stuff there. If it's a question relevant to the call right now, make sure to ask it on the live call itself. But if you have one that pops up later, feel free to ask it there as well right there, because we'll basically check in the comments in the go-to webinar then right now here. So make sure to do that. And of course, you can always also check out our past webinars and trainings. It's just on the training tab inside of WebFire in the members area on the left side navigation bar. So towards the very bottom of the navigation bar on the left side, you'll see a training. Then you'll see one for the webinar. So you can click on that and you'll see all of them right there. I want to say there's probably over 100, I think. Which is why we allow you to search by keywords and such, or you can quickly browse through and see essentially what the titles are to get an idea of the calls and what's of interest to you. Because oftentimes we have people write in and say, hey, could you do a training on this or training on that? And it's sometimes topics that we've done 5 or 6 calls on. So make sure to search those as well, because we have a lot of stuff there, and that's available to all of you as well. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask on this training, on the Facebook group page, or email us at support@webfire.com, and make sure to whitelist that email as well, just in case, so it won't go to spam or anything like that. So once again, that's just support@webfire.com. And you want to make sure, like, if you have like let's say you lost like a login or something like that, make sure to write support@webfire.com on stuff like that. If you have more of like a marketing question, like, hey, do you have any suggestions on this page or this service or that, we encourage you to use the Facebook group, if at all possible, because people tend to like to see the questions and the answers on marketing related stuff there. So we encourage you to use that. I know a lot of people oftentimes just like to use the email support either way, but I would encourage you on the marketing side to use Facebook group page, because not only would we of course answer you in either case, but oftentimes a lot of our own members have their own input and feedback and stuff too, which is always useful. Now, let's move on to the training for the day, followed by our Q&A, where you can ask anything that you want. So what you learned today is first, 5 specific ways of making money with WebFire, where we'll actually go through specific examples. And then we'll end with our Q&A. So we'll have some time for that. So if you have any other marketing questions or anything like that, feel free to ask there. And of course, if there's like, if you're new to WebFire, make sure to watch, the Jumpstart videos and the walkthroughs for essentially tools you want to use, because that has all the training on how to use the tools and all that right there. This is more of stuff geared towards how to make money, or essentially the marketing side of things. So you kind of have the best of both worlds right there. So moving on, 5 specific ways of making money with WebFire. So you want to note that these are specific examples that aren't all meant to be copied exactly as is. You should adapt them to other niches, other interests, and so forth. These are just examples, because I find oftentimes if I give a generic example, that's useful, but I know a lot of people oftentimes like to have a specific one. But that doesn't mean, hey, like if I give an example with, let's say, a dentist or a chiropractor or a lawyer, it doesn't mean you have to only do that for those guys right there. So you want to kind of expand upon that and use the ideas that I hand out as like a stepping block to kind of turn stuff into your own thing right there. So number 1 is you could do a lead service for lawyers, or if you're from the UK, I think you call them solicitors. I think Australia might as well. So here in the US, we just call them bloodsuckers. No, I'm just joking. I apologize to any lawyers. I know Sean's one too, or he's actually an ex-lawyer, so I think that's like a little step above. But anyway, all jokes aside, you can do a lead service for lawyers. And what you can do with that is you could use the Tweet Lead Finder tool inside of WebFire, which is just under the social tools, to search for basically people complaining about specific legal issues. These can be like speeding tickets, eviction, or landlord questions, and that goes both ways. It can be, the tenants asking questions. It can also be the landlords asking questions. You can look for basically immigration questions, divorce advice, or anyone asking for specific legal advice. And you can do a variety of keywords, like if you're searching for those, like a speeding ticket, just having stuff like speeding ticket, or speeding citation, or anything like that, would tend to get you a lot of leads there. On general legal advice, even just having keywords like legal advice or legal suggestions, or anything like that can get a bunch, and you can tailor it to almost any legal niche that you want. Just basically think of the everyday language that someone would use. Like on the immigration side, it could be looking to immigrate, or immigration lawyer, or immigration attorney, or immigration solicitor, where they might be asking a question and they mention something along those lines right there. That can get a lot of social leads. Now, if you're basically dealing with, and it depends upon the lawyer that you deal with. There's like certain cases that it doesn't matter where you are, and you could have ones on like a national level, so that's fine. Oftentimes with some stuff, like if it's like an eviction or like a speeding ticket, it more likely would be, on like a localized scale. Whereas with some other cases, you could do it on like a national scale. But on a local one, you'd want to set the location on the tweet lead finder. So when you basically enter the keywords and scroll down, you'll see a little area where you can basically enter the location. You want to have it set to maybe like 20 to 30 miles or so, or whatever you think is the norm by you. The less you do, the more targeted those leads would be, but you'll get more leads with a larger area. So you'll want to keep that in mind. Then you'll want to contact local lawyers and basically offer them a handful of leads for free as an example, while explaining the benefit with how they can basically offer a free consultation, answer a question, so on and so forth. So it's basically a way where, hey, they can get a steady flow of leads, even of local leads, that are basically interested in the exact essentially topic that the lawyers are experts in right there. Then you can offer one of three options. First, you can offer a weekly export of the leads where you just give them the list. Secondly, you could offer a service where you reply to the leads for them, which obviously costs more. Or third, you can basically do an agreed upon per lead essentially cost. I don't like this one as much because I find people tend to get a lot more essentially picky. They're like, well, I'll pay for this one, but not that one. And it gets kind of, just more hard. Whereas I find if you just charge like, let's say a monthly fee of, let's say, a couple $100 or a few $100 a month and just export those leads each week, they can like that. Or a service where you reply to those leads for them, you can charge a bit more, like even up to like, $500 a month, or if there's like a lot of leads or, a much larger niche, it could even be $1,000 a month or more right there, where that would be extremely effective. And probably a decent ROI for a lot of those guys right there, because they're paying for ads and stuff elsewhere, and oftentimes they're paying a lot more for a lot less. So I would probably shoot for something more along, the lines of the second option right there, where you not only give them those leads, but you can optionally help reply to those leads for them with basically answers that they give. Most guys will have like a standard like copy and paste answer for most stuff, but that can work very well. And this is the kind of service that, again, depending upon the level of involvement and stuff you have, on the simpler end, where you just like export leads and show them the list, you're talking, $200-300 a month, pretty good right there for every client. Where again, you do maybe, 3 minutes of work a week for, $200 or $300 a month right there. In some cases, even upwards of $500 per month for a single client. Whereas for the second option, where you reply more and all that right there, that's one that, I would probably say minimum you want to shoot for is $500 a month right there. In a lot of cases, you could probably even get upwards of $1,000 a month. If it's the kind of business that, makes a lot of money off a single sale. I mean, if you're basically dealing with a cheap service or store or something like that, not worth quite as much right there. If you decide to go on the per lead cost, which I don't recommend to start with, you want to make sure that it's worthwhile. Oftentimes, the one of the reasons why I don't like this route is oftentimes you'll find, like, if, let's say, the going rate for like, a mortgage lead, sometimes the networks might be like $80 to $100 or more in some cases. In some cases, a lot more. Oftentimes, the businesses say, "Oh yeah, I'll pay $1 a lead or a quarter a lead," or something like that, because they're just not realistic yet. Which is why I sometimes don't go down that path right there. But you certainly can. It's just a bit more tough. Now, you want to remember that you can basically turn around and do this for anything. It can be dentists, real estate agents or investors, massage therapists, plastic surgeons, eye care specialists, weight loss clinics or gyms, anything. So like if you want to do a deal with like a weight loss clinic or a fitness expert, or, let's say there's like a boxing, essentially trainer, you can search for, and I mean, in a case like that, there's lots of people in the local area looking to lose weight and basically talking about that. So you can get lots of leads for anything like that. So this is just examples that I'm giving out right there. So again, you can do this for anything, but again, fairly easy way of making some extra dough right there, where even a single sale can be a decent monthly reoccurring income for you. Now, idea number 2, you can do site analysis and SEO for roofers. So you can use the site analysis tool, the main keyword tool, and the SEO configuration tool to start an SEO service for roofers, or basically people that repair roofs and stuff. You can create a screen recording of you showing off the results for a keyword like roof repair, followed by like your location, like, you know, Atlanta, Georgia, or wherever you are in the world, or wherever basically your customer is. And then stating that they're not in the top few spots. And you can actually do this generically, as if you were to reach out to, like, you know, 30 roofers, chances are, you know, almost all of them aren't in the top few spots. And then basically stating that you also notice that they don't rank for a bunch of other related terms as well. So you can make one screen recording of yourself showing this off, and you can send the exact same one to like a few dozen different prospects. You can also then state a few reasons in the video why some of the sites rank and why some others don't. Like the ones that rank tend to basically target the keyword in their title tag, on their site, so on and so forth. And they might have more relevant backlinks as well. All of this will be basically revealed in the site analysis report, which you can give out to them as well. Then you can either send them a free site analysis report from WebFire, which you can even brand towards, you know, your own name or business or link or anything you want, or you can ask them to basically contact you for a free report via email with no obligations to even talk to you. So you make it very easy for them to get this info. A lot of times, you know, a lot of other businesses out there selling stuff often make it like super hard to get stuff. Like you have to schedule a phone appointment, all this other crap, and it's like, no, just make it super easy for them to get what your basically offer is. Reason being, when you send the report, you can state that all the problems you can easily fix for them, because again, WebFire can easily fix all that, and that you'll guarantee them ranking results, or you'll continue working until they get them. As you can get the results by basically targeting the proper keywords the main keyword tool indicates, and making the fixes yourself via outsourcers or via the SEO configuration tool inside of WebFire. You can sell this as a one-time fee or as a monthly fee. For a one-time fee, I would shoot for about $1,000 to $5,000, usually, typically. Well, if you're going for a monthly route, I would shoot for about $300 to $1,000 per month, depending on the type of client. So clients that are worth more, where a single sale for them is worth a lot more, you can often charge a lot more as well, because there's more value that they get. This can be used for almost any kind of service provider or business out there, but it's best when the profit margins and the price points are high. For instance, for roofers, one sale could be $10,000 to $30,000 or more for them. Whereas like if you basically did this for a shoe repair service or business, one sale could be basically $20. And it's the exact same amount of work in a lot of cases. So you might as well go for the ones where, hey, if you get a single sale for them and they get like even $10,000, they're ecstatic. They're like, wow, I invested like $1,000 a month and I got a $10,000 sale off this. They'll think you are the best person out there. They will recommend you. They'll say, oh, you know, use this guy right here. Whereas, you know, if you were to charge, you know, a third of that price, like let's say $300 for a shoe repair place, and you get them 5 sales, assuming that they can even track it right, they'll say, oh, this sucks. You know, I spent, you know, $300 and only got, you know, $100 of shoes sold. Whereas, you know, the roofers say, oh, this is awesome. I spent $1,000 and got a $10,000 sale right off the bat the first month. So again, same amount of work, but in one case, they'll love you a lot more because the results and the value that you bring them can be a lot more. Now, is there money in smaller price point stuff? Sure. I just find that it's oftentimes easier to get a guy to like take a leap of faith with you, knowing that, hey, if he gets one sale, he's making a huge profit. And money method number 3, this one I think is a pretty cool one, and I have a pretty funny story with this as well. So the third one right here is you can do reputation management as a service for lawyers' clients. So this is almost an exact clone of number 2, which is basically the SEO one, with the exact same example or client as I stated in number 1, which is the lawyers. But this has an interesting twist on it. So instead of doing basic SEO, you'd be doing SEO in an attempt to get more good information out there for particular clients suffering from reputation issues. This basically be like if they have like a bad review out there, or if they have a competitor saying some bad stuff, all that stuff right there. This would not only involve SEOing their own site, but also creating basically articles, videos, and blogs, and so forth, all trying to target their company name and related terms, like any product or service that they have. And this is all stuff that WebFire can do. Now, so basically, you're trying to rank their own site higher and trying to get like additional blogs and articles and videos that you can even make or outsource and rank those as well in page 1. Now, a trick to really explode at this is to contact a handful of lawyers, which can be anywhere in the world, who might deal with clients, contacting them about potentially suing, basically troublemakers, ruining their reputation, oftentimes even making stuff up online. And then you'd simply say that you're an online reputation management company that specializes in outranking negative stuff, so there's positive stuff out there for your clients. You can also offer a cut to the lawyers if they refer any clients over to you. So why does this work? Well, because lawyers constantly get people like this with reputation issues who don't want to spend $50,000 or more fighting it in court versus $5,000 fixing it all. And instead of losing the client, they can still make some money off of you. So oftentimes, like, a client won't want to spend $50,000 to $100,000 to fight a case that he may or may not win to get some stuff taken down, when if they spend, let's say, $5,000 to get their own site ranking higher, to get some additional positive stuff out there on them, that is almost guaranteed to kind of fix or at least help with the issue at hand right there. And this is a big business where there's a lot of people that are oftentimes willing to pay a lot of money, because if they're trying to get rid of the bad stuff, there's a big sense of urgency. They're losing money, they're losing sales, and they're oftentimes willing to pay well for that stuff right there. And if it comes, and a lawyer oftentimes would rather make some money than none. So if they know that, hey, this guy's not about to drop 100K to possibly sue this guy, whereas a better option might be to drop like 5 to 10K and get a cut of that for you to help them. And it's basically the same thing as optimizing their site. You're just adding additional articles and blogs and some other stuff that you help rank as well. And I have a couple stories about this here. So I did a similar thing here where I had to deal with a lawyer where if he had, essentially clients that he thought would basically benefit from my stuff, he could, kind of send them my way. What I didn't know actually resulted in a pretty funny story. So originally I thought, hey, if there's any clients that, match up here, just, send me an email with them and I'll see if I can help. So years back, I was at home and I got a call on my cell phone, and I don't really usually give out my cell phone number, so I didn't know how someone got this. I got a call and I answer it, and a guy's like, hey, are you Brian Kaz? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I have a problem that I was told you could help with. And I'm like, okay, what's that? And it's like, again, I have no clue who this guy is. He then says, I'm being accused of having a plane of mine that has gone down with several tons of coke on it. And just in case you're not completely clear, we're talking about the drug, not the soda. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, why is he calling me? Like, I didn't quite put it all together. And I say, oh, well, what like, was like this plane yours or what? And he's like, yeah, it was mine, you know, at some point. And eventually I found out, he didn't say immediately, but I found out he was referred by the lawyer, and the lawyer just basically gave out my number, which I didn't know that he would do. So that made sense, but I was like, you know, I'm not sure if he's looking for like a hitman or like an SEO guy. But what turned out in the end is this guy was like a pretty big like investor type guy, you know, very big in the business field, and he used to own a private plane. And that plane was sold off to like another guy at some point years and years back, and then that guy sold it off to another guy, and eventually it ended up in the hands of like a Colombian drug lord type, then used as like a smuggling then. And the plane did indeed crash and did have a lot of coke on it. But what a blogger online did, a blogger tried to link the plane to him because like the serial number or whatever on it apparently matched up to one that he actually did own like a long time ago, but it wasn't his when it, you know, essentially crashed. And the blogger was trying to rip this guy completely apart by saying, hey, this guy's a drug dealer and that's how he got all his money, and like completely unfounded and, you know, basically made up stuff. I'm trying to make this guy look really bad. And the problem was, even though if you did a little research your own, you could see that, you know, the blogger guy seemed kind of crazy. Like he had like a lot of conspiracy theories on his site, like crazy ones where he thought like, you know, all these government officials were, you know, into the drug business, and there were also a bunch of like extraterrestrials involved and stuff. I mean, really crazy stuff. But no one really takes the time to look into that stuff. So if you just did a Google search on his name or his business, one of the first few things you'd see is that, you know, he's a drug dealer, and he was actually losing a ton of money. In fact, he actually lost investments worth millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars because people kind of bailed last minute because they were afraid that he was, you know, this big time dealer. And he had some big, like, it was like a big interview on TV that was like a month away, and he wanted to see what he could do to like get rid of these issues fast. So, you know, this is a guy that's willing to spend a lot of money fast to fix this stuff, and he knew that a lawsuit would take way too long and wouldn't necessarily even guarantee a win. So not only what you basically do here is, you know, you would create a bunch of content on his name and his companies and get a bunch of positive stuff out there. And if the bad stuff was like still there, what you could do at that point is like basically make some extra content and address that bluntly. Like say, hey, you know, there is a place out there accusing me of being a dealer. You know, here's the real story behind it. Yes, I did used to own that plane. Yes, if you see, that was sold off a couple times. I haven't owned that plane in over a decade. And you know, you can turn it into like a funny thing. So when people see that ranked and they click on it, they're like, oh, that's kind of funny. And they like you more instead of thinking that you're like a dealer, which could have costed him like millions and millions and millions of dollars right there. So for a guy like that, even tens of thousands of, you know, dollars to fix that would be a steal. Even $100,000 would be a steal to fix an issue like that right there. And they need that stuff fast. So that's just kind of a funny story like this. And again, this can happen all over with any business. Like I've had guys in the past who make up stuff in an attempt just to try to steal clients. Like I had a software in another niche that I partnered with a lady on years ago, and there was a competitor of hers that did not have any software or anything like that. He made up a story saying that she stole the software from him, even though he never even had software, and that he was going to instead give that software away for free. So he had an opt-in, and the trick was if you opt in, he never had any software. He was just trying to steal leads, very shady. So not only could we do stuff to like rank her name higher, but also directly address that and say, hey, this guy is a liar. Here is the proof. You can see we had our domain on this date. his site here was a couple years afterwards, and if you if you opt in, he doesn't even have any software. It's all made up in a lie, and it makes him look like a fool at that point right there. So you could waste hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to sue a guy on that, or you could do this to basically fix it relatively quickly right there. And there's a lot of businesses that are very cutthroat in this stuff, which luckily for you can help you get a lot of prospects to basically defend against that. So just another idea right there. And note one important thing here is that it's a very, very powerful marketing method to find other businesses that you can refer your business in a mutually beneficial way. And that's usually by basically giving them a cut. And this can be applied to tons of businesses and services out there. So you might have a service or something that you can do, or even something that you sell, that you can partner with another business out there, or you can get referrals by another business out there. So in this case, you're basically getting referrals from lawyers who know that, hey, they realistically can't really help, or their client wouldn't be willing to pay and wait that long, where you could help them out far faster for a lot less. But if they get paid something, or you help them out in some way, there's a mutually beneficial thing going on there, and they can send you a lot of clients. And this can work in almost any business out there. And I think it's one of the most underused marketing methods out there, is to basically team up with other businesses and look for other businesses that can refer you a lot of sales or help get you a lot of sales in exchange for usually a cut. It's definitely worth your time to try to invest a little bit in trying to basically find a few partners and stuff like that there. So method number 4 here is to have a PR service for book authors, or basically any business. So this technique basically involves using tools like the guest blog tool to find places where you or your clients can get guest blog posts done, which you can email all with a couple clicks of a button, as well as reaching out to places where competitors to the client are to get their traffic from as well. So you can use the competition backlink tool to see like where the competitors get their traffic from, and you can use the guest blog tool to find all the places online that accept a guest blog post in any niche, and you can use that to kind of help submit like a news piece or like an article or a press release on their behalf, or a guest blog post on their behalf to all these sites there. And what's cool here is that if they even get on 1 or 2 or 3 of these blogs as a guest blog post, they feel really good, because they're like, wow, I got some extra publicity. Stuff is really, really awesome here. And this is the kind of thing that they're willing to pay a decent fee for. And they're more likely to get a guest blog post accepted because, in this case, they're like a book author. So it gives them an extra level of credibility. Now, you can search for lots of authors of books anywhere, including even on Amazon, and then attempt to find their contact info. Newer authors can especially be good here because they want to kind of get a name for themselves and get some extra publicity. And then you can email them, either a short email with some useful tips for them to get more exposure, or a short video with the same tips, and then state that you have basically a PR service where you guarantee exposure on extra sites or blogs for their book, and state how this can not only help gain extra exposure for their book, but also for them as an expert. And you can even have it so you guarantee that they get on at least like one site as like a guest blog, but oftentimes more. And you can sell either as a higher one-time fee of like $1,000 or more, or a lower monthly fee for ongoing work, where each month you submit to a few places for them right there. You can also offer them a substantial cut if they can refer any other authors as well, and state that you'd love to use them as a case study. Like say, hey, I'm looking to build this service out. That's why I have a pretty low price right here. You'll see other PR services out there that charge tens of thousands of dollars. I'm actually doing this for only like $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000. And on top of that, if it's not a good fit for you, or if you know of anyone else, if you refer them my way, I'll pay you X amount right here per referral, and you can rest assured that anyone you refer me to is guaranteed to get the free exposure, or they don't pay a penny. And that's the kind of offer that, again, word of mouth there can spread a bit, and it's the kind of service that there are places out there that literally charge tens of thousands of dollars to do what our tool and you can do in, a fraction of that time right there. And you can even get the guest blog from the article or from, the actual author itself, and just submit that as the guest blog post, or make a couple versions of that and submit that out, to get that on some other blogs there. So super, super easy, and the kind of service that you can sell for top dollar. I've had clients that have sold this for anywhere from $500 to $5,000. There's even one example of someone that sold it for about $1 million. There's obviously an exceptional one. It was a very high-end client, but it's possible to do, but definitely in the $500 to $5,000 range. Again, that seems like a steal of a deal right there. Now, note again, this can be done for almost any business out there. New businesses, authors, entrepreneurs, famous people, and so on are always eager for more exposure. So this is the kind of service that they would absolutely love. So last one here is number 5, you can write reviews for top commissions. So this technique basically involves writing affiliate reviews for basically products or services that pay you higher commissions or reoccurring commissions. You can start by basically writing a quick review on a blog where you have a keyword-rich title like, basically product name, review, dash the good and the bad. You can use the main keyword tool to find the best review terms that are the easiest to rank for and get ranked quite easily. You can have a super short, basically like an overview or about product paragraph, a list of the pros and cons, ideally in bullet points, and a summary of what you think, and a quick call to action or a conclusion where you would have like a link at the very end that says click here to get yada yada yada, which we feel is the best bet if you're looking for yada yada yada. So again, super easy to write these reviews. You do not want them to be pages and pages and pages long. Again, just a simple title that has the review term in the title itself, a summary of what the product is, just like 2, 3, 4 sentences or so tops. So a list of pros and cons, a summary of what you think in the end, and the call to action or conclusion there, as well as a link where you basically tell them to click to get the best deal out there, or to get this, or whatever it might be. Now, you want to make sure that the web page or blog post is optimized for the keyword using the site analysis tool. Then you also want to use the site submitter inside of WebFire to alert the search engines to your new content, because this will rank you faster. Then you want to turn around and turn that article into a video to optimize it for YouTube using Video Firestorm inside of WebFire to basically double your chances of basically picking up extra traffic and sales. Then if you're even more ambitious, you can use the real-time lead finder, the rank lead finder, the Q&A lead finder, and the social lead finder to find people basically talking about the product, related competing products, or basically asking for reviews, and give them valuable content while trying to drive them to your full review. So an example of what to say, if like you have a review for, let's say, an autoresponder, and someone out there asks, hey, what's a good autoresponder service, or does anyone have any experience with this one or that one? You can say, hey, there's a lot of good ones out there. You want to make sure that have one or that does this or this, and stay away from ones that do with this. If you want some recommendations of mine, feel free to check out a review I wrote here, and give a link right there. But you want to come off in a non-spammy way. And again, you don't have to do that last step of reaching out to leads, but that can help a great deal for 2 reasons. 1, it can get you some extra backlinks, which can help boost your own rankings. But 2, it can actually get you very highly targeted leads that are likely to actually buy the recommendations that you give off that right there. But oftentimes just basically doing the first part can get you ranked and get you lots of traffic, especially over time, of basically buyer traffic. Whereas that last bit can get you, again, even more traffic, even more sales from those leads, and even a higher chance of ranking as well. So you can go the extra mile and do that there. Now, it's important to note that you ideally want basically products that are not only popular with lots of regular sales. Once you can basically piggyback off of off of their advertising and stuff, but where also you earn a very nice and high commission. So if you're reviewing a product that no one's heard about, you're not likely to get basically people searching for that. So definitely take that into consideration. But also at the same time, the higher the commission is and the higher the price point is, the more it can be worthwhile to basically do so. That's why one of the first things that I reviewed online or was an affiliate for was basically diamonds, because they'd go for thousands of dollars and I'd get a pretty big cut right there just for helping people out on basically getting deals on them. And one thing to note is that reviewing a $7 product is oftentimes just as easy or hard as a $3,000 product. So you can spend just as much time writing a review on both of those, and you'll be probably just as likely to get a sale or two of each one. But if you get a sale or two right off the bat on 3,000, you'll be much more happy than making a few bucks on a $7 sale. So just keep that in mind as well right there. So remember that all of these ideas aren't meant to be copied step by step for the exact same niche. You want to use them as a way to get your, basically your idea juices flowing and to come up with your own unique ideas and niches based on them. Because all of these different money-making methods can be used or basically tweaked in different ways to work with thousands of different niches and ideas. So have you used WebFire for other ideas that you'd like to share, or have any interesting things that you tried yourself? Feel free to share, and there's a chance that we'll basically talk about or mention it on a future call and give you some credit as well. So make sure to share those, or feel free to even post them on the Facebook page as well right there. So now we'll move on to the Q&A and the cash giveaway right after as well. And now just to basically answer a couple quick questions here. Yes, we do record these, and we'll have these available in the members area, usually within like a day or so. So you'll see it by probably tomorrow at the latest. And we not only have a recording of the call, but you'll get a copy of the slides as a PDF as well. So you can go through it. I know I basically give like examples of stuff to do in certain tools. So you can see that on the slides as you actually use the tools yourself. So I know that often helps quite a bit right there. And of course, if you have any suggestions or anything like that, or any future calls that you think would be useful topics, feel free to let us know. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask now. And in the meantime, make sure to join our free Facebook group right here at getwebfire.com/FB group. And what we're basically doing here as a special thing, we'll actually give you guys a chance to win $100 live right now. So here's what we want you to do. So while I'm basically doing the Q&A, Sharon has a post up at the very top that you'll see. It'll be basically posted within the past hour, and it will ask what you think of today's call. If you leave a comment there on either what you thought of the call or any other questions that you have, or any suggestions for like a future call or anything else you'd like to hear about, or any thoughts at all, if you leave any comment at all, we'll pick a random winner. We'll actually do the drawing live in just a little bit right there. So make sure to go there and leave a comment. And I'll actually I'll show you exactly what I mean right here. Just pause the screen for a second. And once again, that link is just getwebfire.com/FB group. Facebook's being a bit slow for me right now, so I'll just pause the screen as it loads right there. All right. All right, so what you'll see on the screen is you'll go to this link right here, getwebfire.com/FBA group, and then you'll scroll down here. It's being really slow. I don't know if it's Facebook or if it's the fact that I have GoTo running or what. Something's up. But if you scroll down towards the top, you see a post from Sharon right here, basically asking what you thought of today's call. You just click on the comment button and you can leave any comments you want right there, and we'll pick a random winner. We'll actually do so on random.org right here, so you can see that it will be completely random and basically anyone can win. We just ask that if you leave a comment, only leave one, and make sure it's left within that box right there. So don't leave it outside of this right here, and we'll pick the winner in probably maybe a handful of minutes or so. In the meantime, I will go to the questions. All right, let's see what we have here. And again, any suggestions on future calls, feel free to ask or feel free to suggest, I should say here. Okay. So yes, we will have the recording up. All right. All right, and yes, all the tools I mentioned for all the examples here are ones inside of WebFire. So they're all ones that are included for free inside of WebFire. All right. Okay. All right. And yes, it seems like there's like a lot of comments that are basically asked on like the reputation management thing, like, hey, are there bad guys that use SEO to try to screw others over? And yes, there are bad guys that basically do shady stuff. I don't recommend you do that stuff, but the reason why there's a decent business and a lot of money to help fix that stuff is because there oftentimes are shady guys out there, that do that stuff. Now, having said that, occasionally there are some real ones too. Like there are there are businesses out there that might have a handful of customers that had a bad experience, and a couple bad reviews can destroy a business. And even if they have a lot of good ones, they want to try to get extra exposure for all those good ones out there. So it's not always done in like a shady way. Sometimes someone just had a bad experience, and they want to make it known. I mean, even like like let's say let's say you sell, I don't know, let's say you sell, let's say like a couch, and let's say you have tons of happy clients, and if there's ever a problem, you're willing to help. But let's say someone gets basically a couch shipped, and the shippers accidentally put like a hole or like a scratch mark on that on the couch. Even though you might be happy to fix that if the customer reached out, there are some guys out there that will basically make it their life mission to destroy you before they even ask if you can replace a couch or anything like that. They'll say, hey, you sold me a couch that had a scratch on it, your business is shysty, you guys are shysters, and blah blah blah. And there are guys out there. Luckily, the majority aren't always like that, but if you're a business and you get basically caught up with someone like that, it can hurt, which is why you want to have services and stuff like this, which is why people are willing to pay to get this kind of help and stuff. All right. And yeah, and don't overthink the PR stuff or the SEO, the SEO stuff. We have a lot of training on the SEO side, but I mean, even just using the site analysis and making the changes suggested and using the keyword tool, that alone will help a great deal and solve probably like 90% of the issues and probably get ranked well 90% of the time right there. And there's extra stuff you can do to go the extra mile, like the extra 10%, but even just doing the main stuff right there will solve most of that. And we have a lot of prior trainings on just SEO, but even with the information on this call, you could likely hit the ground running with just the tools mentioned here, but definitely watch any of the prior trainings that you want right there. All right. All right, so there's a question here if we have any tools to basically identify like a negative keyword versus like a positive one for like reviews and stuff. So we don't deal with that specifically just because they're super easy to basically find, and usually the businesses themselves know of the reviews ahead of time, so they'll show you exactly what the bad review is, so you can see, you know, what you have to do to basically address that. And usually it is like, you know, if they have like basically a business name or like a product name followed by, you know, a term like review or scam or anything like that, those are the terms that people would use to get ranked on the bad stuff. And it just means you have to get some good stuff out there, you know, either under the product name or the product name followed by review and the terms like that. So it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to get rid of the bad stuff. You just have to have some extra good stuff out there as well. All right, let's see what else here. And yeah, you certainly, there's a question here if WebFire could be used to help someone find a job in their niche. Absolutely. In fact, just off the top of my head, there's a few things that you could do. One, you could get ranked for any job type, you know, term that you want, but probably even cooler is you could use the lead tools to find guys maybe looking to hire in that niche, or guys asking questions in that niche that you could basically answer and be viewed as the expert in. All right. And okay, it looks like there's a person asking a question on the WebFire app. Yeah, so if a tool won't load, chances are you don't have the desktop app loaded up in the background. So just make sure to download that, and you'll see a little green link that will say it's connected in the members area. But if you still have an issue, Tom, just write support@webfire.com and they'll have you squared away probably this afternoon. So pretty easy. All right. Someone's asking here where they can find data on cost per click. We don't deal as much with like the paid side. We deal more with how to get like free traffic. So if you use the main keyword tool inside of WebFire, it will give you the search data, like, you know, the amount of monthly searches and stuff like that as like a guess, which is usually, you know, an indicator of what that keyword would be worth. But there's no like easy way to like know exactly, you know, how much it would cost to advertise those kinds of keywords, because like even the places that give some data on like what the cost would be, they're usually never accurate, especially with how places like AdWords essentially charge you, because they charge you based upon the quality of your page and the niche and the competition, a whole bunch of other stuff right there. So I never found that stuff too useful there. But the search data stuff like the volume is incredibly useful, which is why we include all that, as well as a lot more data to basically tell you how easy or hard it is to rank. All right. A lot of questions here. All right, question here from what is the best way to approach using WebFire to utilize it best? Well, I'd say first, basically pick or basically focus on like one or two things that you want to start with, whether it be like if you want to do SEO or if you want to do like lead gen, or, you know, basically brainstorm a couple ideas after you go through like a jumpstart training or even this one here, and try to focus in I'm basically doing 1 or 2 things at a time just to start with. Like there's a lot of ideas. I mean, there's literally hundreds of things that you could do. And oftentimes there's so many ideas that you get almost lost. So like pick 1 or 2 to start with and just hit the ground running with that. I'm a big fan of selling like web services and stuff like that, especially high value ones where it's hundreds of thousands of dollars a month per sale, just because I find like when you get your first sale, that's usually the hardest part. And when you get your first sale of like, let's say $1,000, it's a lot more rewarding than a first sale of like $7. And then you'll find that every sale you get after that is exponentially easier to get, which is why that first one is always the most important one. Okay. And David, yes, on a future call, we absolutely can do some more like hands-on demos and stuff with some of the tools. We have a lot of that currently available now. Oftentimes I find like you can't give as many ideas and have them be all hands-on and cram it all into one call, but we definitely can do like a future call where we kind of show like hands-on, maybe like 1 or 2 examples and like basically dive in deep right there. So that's a great idea that we can do on a future call. All right. All right. And Jess, so the reason why, so 2 things. You said that you got no results on Tweet Lead Finder because the keyword that you basically entered, there's 2 things wrong. One, you have a typo. You spelled actually personal wrong. So if you have a typo, you have to be super careful with that stuff because if you have a typo, chances are you won't get any matches. 2, the keyword, if you say something like personal injury, San Diego, that's not a good search term at all. No one says personal injury San Diego. That's more of like a keyword search for like a search engine. You would want to say for like, if let's say you're looking for like a personal injury leads, a natural search that you'd want to do is for maybe a keyword like car wreck or car accident or got into an accident or got into a car wreck, some term like that, and basically brainstorm like 10 or so terms like that, and then don't type in the location. Instead, on the bottom of the part where you enter the keywords, it will ask if you want to search by location, check yes, and then say within X amount of miles right there. So the reason why you got no results is not only did you have a typo, but the keyword choice that you used wasn't a good one. But you will get a lot of leads if you do what I basically just said right there. And if you get lost or confused or anything like that, just write support@webfire.com and they can be sure to look at what you're basically doing as well. All right, Francis asked here, are negative keywords an essential approach for reputation recovery SEO? Don't quite know what you mean. Basically, if someone has some like bad keywords and stuff out there or some bad stuff out there, you just want to make sure you also get some good stuff out there as well. And if there's a lot of bad stuff out there, you want to not only get a lot of good stuff out there, but you want to get some stuff out there that ranks that also addresses the bad stuff to kind of give your side of the story. All right, so one says, how will you build your reputation up so clients will use you? I assume you mean like social proof and stuff. So I'd say with this, you know, if you basically start to use the tools and stuff and start to get, you know, do some stuff to get yourself, even just having one example yourself can help a ton. But also if you use the reports and all that, you don't need as much like social proof there because the social proof is in the report. Like you're basically saying, hey, this is what's wrong with your site. This is what you need to do to fix it. So there's some social proof in that because you're not just saying what like the competitors are saying, which is like, hey, hire me to fix your site and do lots of SEO. You're saying, hey, here's specifically what is wrong with your site. and here's specifically what you should do to fix that, which is all done in the report. It's all automatically done right there. So the social proof is right there and can help. So that can help a great deal. And when you do like your first initial clients, you can even be very, very blunt and say, hey, I've done this for, myself and some others. I'm looking to expand this right here. I'm really excited to get new clients on board. That's why I'm giving you a super awesome deal right here. Instead of basically charging this much, we're only doing this much, but we basically ask that we can use you as a case study in the future. And most of those guys will say yes then, because they get a pretty awesome deal on that. All right. All right, Mark says he's having trouble with some screenshots. I don't know what you mean, because there's nothing in our software that does screenshots. Yeah, so I don't know what program you're using. I don't know what screenshot you're using or whatnot. Likely a Google search will help you with the screenshots software. If it's something else that you think is on our end, feel free to write us and ask right there. But I'm guessing it might be a Google thing that you'll have to search on. All right. This person said here they don't know why people read a bad review and believe it over all the good ones. This because people always like a negative story. Like, if I said, hey, if I said, hey, your neighbor's a great guy, and let's say 9 guys out of 10 said that your neighbor's a great guy, you'd probably be like, oh, that's nice. But if there's one guy that said your neighbor's a horrible guy, you instantly listen and you're like, oh, why is that? And like you focus on that. And it's kind of like the nature of a lot of people. And oftentimes it gets even worse if they're looking to make like a buying decision, because they're trying to talk themselves out of it, because everyone's afraid to part with their own money. So if they read like 9 out of 10s that are great, they're still kind of like nervous about essentially parting with their money. But if they find one reason why not to, they're like, oh, that one person had a bad experience, or that one person said some bad stuff. Okay, I have my excuse not to buy now. So you have to do like an extra good job to kind of basically combat that, because yeah, it can really cost a business a lot of money. All right. All right, here. All right, and Tom, as far as you say, what is the fastest way to make $100 with WebFire? Well, we have a call specifically on the quickest way to make $1,000 with WebFire, or 5 quick ways of making 1,000. I would suggest you watch that or apply what you just learned right here, because all of these methods right here, you could turn into something that you sell for hundreds of dollars each, if not thousands of dollars each right there. Okay. All right, this person's asking here if there's any resources or something to find data on the lifetime value of potential clients for different niches. Really it depends so much on the product that I'd say just use basically common sense, or do a little research yourself, because like the value of like a shoe repair sale is a lot less than the value of a roofer. So don't overthink that stuff right there. Oftentimes, I say that the common sense will basically beat almost any other method out there. All right. Oh, and looks like the person that had the one issue realized how to fix it. All right, awesome. All right, as far as how to give essentially a positive, info, like you'd want to rank for their company name, or their own name, or their own products. You could also, if they have like a lot of things out there that ranked for their company name followed by like scam, you could even rank for that yourself, and then have a title of like company name scam dash the true story. and rank for that term right there, and basically give your version of that, so you have yours among all that bad stuff or made up stuff right there. So that's all fine. All right, one says, how do I start selling and where do I get what to sell? I mean, it depends what you want to do. Like the call I had here focused more on like web services and stuff that you could sell. We have lots of other trainings and stuff on how, if you want to be like an affiliate of stuff, if you want to sell your own products and stuff. We have entire calls on that, so make sure that you go to the prior trainings and search for anything of interest to you. But if you're brand new, what I highly suggest is to go through the Jumpstart videos first. There's three main ones. Make sure to go through those. You know, when you log in, you'll see the Jumpstart stuff right there. You'll get a general idea of what you know, might be of interest to you and what you should do, and go from there. Alrighty, and if you need any help, feel free to let us know. All right, Jess, make sure that you have it linked up to your social media account. So I'm guessing there might be an issue right there if it's not, if you don't have it linked up to yours, it likely won't work, but I will double check that really quick right here. And if you still have that, just write support@webfire.com and they can look into your exact account and see if you don't have that linked up right or not. So with that, guys, I'll give you like another minute to leave a comment on that Facebook post right there. Once more, it's just go to getwebfire.com/FB group. And I'll pick a winner in about a minute's time right here. So I'm just basically testing one quick thing right here for one of the clients that asked, just to make sure that the social tool is live. I'll just make sure, because I know mine worked earlier when I ran the test, so I'll just test to make sure that it works. Yep, it works fine. And here, so there's a person that said that they didn't get leads in this, so my guess is that you didn't have it linked up, so I'll just show you right here. So like right here, you know, you can see here, I'm getting leads fine. Here's house hunting. Here's ones for a back pain. You know, these are real-time leads. So my guess is the first time you use it will basically prompt you to link it up to your own account or your own essentially Twitter account. So make sure you basically do that. If not, make sure that you just write support@webfire.com and they can see exactly why that might be. And as a side note for the local stuff, so you don't actually type in the local keyword yourself in most of the cases. There could be like a few examples where you might want to, but you just go down to here, click on search by location, and then click the longitude and latitude by basically clicking here of anywhere in the world that you want. And again, there's a walkthrough on it right here on how to do all that. So if you have any other issues in that, I forgot who asked that, just write support@webfire.com. All right. And yes, we do have training on local clients. I don't know what you mean by the three pack, but we definitely have like lots of local marketing training and stuff like that. To get that, you just, if you go under essentially the training, you click on the Wednesday calls right here, and then you would just search for like anything you want. Like if you're interested in SEO, you basically type in that, and you find a bunch of them all right here on that. Okay. All right. And yeah, absolutely. If you ever need help on anything, feel free to reach out. And all right, and as well, if you have any questions or any issues, just write support@webfire.com. Sharon, it looks like essentially Terry was having an issue on the help desk there. So if they just write support@webfire.com, it should be fine. I think it's the 5th one up from the bottom. Sharon, if you want to double check, it looked like they locked themselves out of the WebFire account right there. That's a pretty easy fix that we can do there. All right, and yeah, you absolutely can. You know, like we have lots of training, you know, on the local stuff. If you're trying to sell like let's say like a Google, like, you know, let's say like, you know, like a Google Maps listing or stuff like that, you can apply the exact same concepts to that stuff here. All right, and great. This person said that the social lead tool was working fine now. All right. All right, so let's pick a winner. And I think on a future call, we'll maybe pick like a couple of these and try to dive a bit more deep. It seems like there's a lot of interest in the reputation management side of stuff. So we'll maybe pick like, you know, maybe like 1 or 2 of those, and we'll try to dive really, really deep, showing off, you know, essentially, you know, the tools and exactly what, you know, I would do and such, you know, to not only identify good leads and stuff and to get new prospects, but how you would fix that as well. So that'd be a pretty interesting topic, so we can have that on a future call. So without further ado, let us pick a winner here, because we're a bit past the hour here. All right, so again, go to getwebfire.com/FB group, leave a comment under the post that Sharon had asking what you thought on today's call. And I will scroll to it right here. All right, so here's the post from Sharon right here. Just refresh the page. All right, so a bunch of comments right here. Thanks for all that. All righty. All right, I'll do a count right here. So it looks like some left a comment outside the main area. That's okay for right now. All right. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 plus. How many do we have here? 4 plus 33. So 37 in total. So pretty good odds right here. I'll go 1 to 37, and we'll see who the winner is. I'll click on generate, and the random winner is number 11. All right, so it makes it easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just make sure I did that right. 1, 2, 3. All right, so the winner is Mary Michael Liston, if I said your name right. If this is you or looks like you and you studied in Ohio State and you're from Columbus and you have a couple dogs, congratulations. You are this week's winner. So what you have to do is, all you have to do is in essentially comments or essentially the chat box, if you just basically type in your PayPal email, Sharon will use that to PayPal you $100 right now, or basically as soon as you post that info over. She will get that over to you this afternoon. So again, congratulations to Mary McMichael Liston for being this time's $100 winner. So thanks for participating, and make sure to post up your PayPal email, and she will get that on over to you. So just make sure to post that up right now, and we'll pass that on. So again, and thanks for you know, all the other great comments. If ever there's like ideas or stuff that you guys want us to have more trainings on, let us know, because we love your feedback. We love to hear like what kind of topics you guys like, or if you guys want like more examples of stuff or what, let us know. Or if there's any suggestions on possible tools or anything like that, let us know as well, because we'd always love to help right there. And with that, guys, I want to thank the rest of you for being on this call right here. And Sharon, yep, it looks like Mary wrote in her PayPal, and Sharon got that, so you'll be paid probably within like a half hour or so, I'm guessing. All right, let's do it. 4, 5, 6. Nope, it looks like a person said, I actually said that I counted wrong. I did not, I just did a double check. So she definitely is number 11. You can see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yep, I got that right. You had me worried. So, all right. So again, congratulations to Mary. If anyone has any questions or any issues, again, we are here to help. Just write support@webfire.com, and they'll always get back to you within 1 business day or less, usually within like a couple hours or less, as long as it's not like, you know, in like the wee hours. But with that, have a great rest of the day and rest of the week. If you have any other questions or suggestions or anything, let us know. Or if you need any help in anything, let us know. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you out. So with that, hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you later. And if we missed anything, I think I answered all the questions, but if not, just write support@webfire.com. So with that, we'll talk to you guys later. Take care and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.